Gentlemen, we're back with a special episode because it's our first listener swing review. Yes, this is going to be exciting to have a chat about some golf swings. But first, I have a question for you. Would you rather work with a student once a month in person, or would you rather work with them just online and be texting swings back and forth and stuff?
Justin, you go first.
I mean, it kind of depends what they have for like a home setup, but I will say this, the person who's sending videos to me multiple times throughout the month, they're getting better faster in that month than the person who came to see me for an hour easily.
So Justin would suggest that you get online lessons. Most of my whole life I always thought online, there's no way that online lessons can be any good compared to being in person with a teacher who's actually like communicating and like getting a face-to-face thing. But I think you guys are swaying me as we talk about this more.
Yeah, it depends on the work though. So if you're trying to build a golf swing or change mechanics, then definitely online is more efficient. Because think about this, like let's say you do go get a 3-hour golf lesson with the best teacher in the world. How many things can you actually change about your golf swing in that one day, and how many can you remember? So if you get a lot of video and you're going home to work on it and you're a very studious person, you can get a bunch out of that. But I'd rather have touch points every day or multiple touches over a month, wouldn't you?
Yes, 100%. I'd rather talk to someone for 5 minutes, 5 times a month than see them for an hour one time. And then like, let's say in that drill we do or in that lesson we do a drill and I tell them, hey, go practice that. See you next month. And they set up the drill station wrong. And then, the last 29 days, we're basically just throw that out because you're doing that wrong. So let's go back to what we were doing. Great. Now we got to spend an hour doing the same thing we just did. Whereas online, I'd have seen that right away and said, whoa, not another rep like this. Let's fix this. So I think there's benefits to both, no doubt.
I change, unless it's an interlocking member, I only do 90-day plans and they can send as many videos as they want.
Well, I think there's two lessons here, I think from a learning perspective that are interesting, right? Is feedback is super important. So like a lack of feedback means you don't learn that well, which if you're going a long time between working with a coach, that's happening. And then the second thing is this aspect of accountability, right? It's almost a little bit of like, if you've told me to do something and then I have to text you to get feedback and I just don't do it, it's very obvious that I have done nothing.
Yes. And you also have to, most people will watch the video before they send it back to me. And if it doesn't look any different, I feel like there's accountability. They're like, gosh, my takeaway still sucks. I can't send them that.
Okay, so this leads us into our first segment of a new series of Send Us Your Swing, because it'll start a fun conversation.
How about this? Like, you got to make a good comment too if you want to submit a video, like contribute or something too, right?
Okay. Ooh, I like that. And don't just send in your swing. Don't just send in your swing and say, what do you think, guys? Like, tell us, like this player did. He told us, what are your problems? What's your handicap? What are you working on? Stuff like that. Give us some background, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then send it into swing@golfball.co. How about that?
Nobody's going to remember that. You're going to have to put that in.
I got to remember to make it too. Otherwise, I don't know where that thing's going. That's where you should send it though. And we'll make it. Send a screenshot of your good comment so you've contributed, and then send a video of your swing. But when you send a video of your swing, guys, this is our happy listener swing. Justin had some choice, and Luke, they both had some choice comments when he submitted his swing on these down the line videos. Gentlemen, what's the problem with some of these videos that he submitted here?
So much.
So we had a video. He said he's a fan of the podcast, but he clearly missed the one on good and bad students.
Okay, what did he do wrong in this video?
Camera angles in that podcast, did we not?
I think we did. Okay, is this? I found he sent a second one, so I did find this. What is good and bad about these two videos of down the line?
Well, so the one down the line that he has on the toe line right here, that's a great angle. Forgot to film in slow motion, so we get 1/4 of the frames that we could get. And then the one that he did film in slow motion, I mean, it looks like he's standing on the roof of the clubhouse down at an angle, looking down, and the angle's terrible. So he did film in slow motion. So
looked like the caddy was back there doing this with the phone.
Justin, where are you supposed to put the camera when you film these?
So, like, I tell everyone online, it's just, we don't have to be crazy, like perfect, but I tell people all the time, if you put a club in the dead center of the screen, just like this, and then took 3 steps this way, laid it on the ground, and then put your toes right on that, that's perfect. So his toes are basically right in the center of the screen. The grip of the club or the hands should be right in the center of the screen, hopefully around hip high.
Got it. So yeah, this is
Luke, you got any tricks for that? Like,
well, I literally say just take 3 paces back and get it right behind the hands and get the hands in the middle of the screen.
yes.
Those are instructions. Really simple, very basically identical to what you say.
And then how important is face on?
Very.
You did ask for this too, Justin.
Yep. I believe it's probably less important than the down the line, but I think it's very important.
I feel like you can get it's 60% as important. You can get a lot out of a good down the line. You just don't always know about where they're at. Particularly, like some people might have a little sway that you might not see really well from down the line.
Got it. All right, so let's dive in. We'll have you guys run.
It might even be interesting to be like, what are you looking at? So face on is much more about like sequencing and power. And down the line's a lot more about like direction. It's a lot more about path and plane and why you might hit it straight to some degree, right? They're just going to give you more different information.
Yeah, I've seen the face on. I can almost somewhat predict someone's hand path on the downswing based on how their spine is angled as well. So I like looking at spine orientation, how much lateral movement they have. I feel like it's good for low point as well. You can see shaft lean and you can see lateral movement. So yeah, there's a lot you can learn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll look at both here today. So this is Marcus. I just asked him a little bit like, what's your preferred ball flight? What's your miss? What are you trying to do? So this was his text to me. He said, I prefer golf ball going straight. I'm fine with it falling either way. Natural swing creates a draw, but I'd like to see a fade. My miss is a block or pull hook, and I'm working on using the ground more. I feel like it's too steep. Start my downswing, it looks steep. Does that matter? When I feel like I'm swinging my best, to me, it feels like I'm pushing my hands away from my body and trying to loop back towards my body at the top. Okay. There we go. Where do you guys want to start?
Play it a few times for our YouTube friends.
And what's his handicap? Or are we not sharing that?
Around, I think around a 0.
Mm-hmm. So he gets it around
He's pretty good.
Yep.
So if we always talk about this idea of the mechanics index. Like it'd be fun for us to all write this down on a card.
Ooh, yeah.
And then we can say, if we did not know his handicap, what it would be.
What do you think? Do you want to do that?
Define mechanic. What is the index? So like Adam Scott's a +7 mechanics index. Is that what you're saying?
Scotty Scheffler, even though it's a little bizarre, like you can say this guy could play, he's a +7. So like what would you expect his handicap agnostic of speed and skill?
From mechanics or just total?
Mm-hmm. Just mechanics. Like
I'm 7, 5.
Let's watch it again.
How about if you got rid of the backswing, Justin, does it change? Because the backswing reroute kind of is
Probably a 5.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like the downswing to me is like pretty good, but it kind of looks loopy and it's kind of like, you and I know exactly where we're going to go, probably earlier hand depth and shallow in transition. And
does Cordy understand the mechanics index here?
Yes.
What'd you say for a number?
I didn't say a number. You were supposed to write it down too. You didn't even play the game right.
Oh, I didn't play the game.
Write it down.
Sorry. I didn't understand the game. Sorry.
It was going to be a big reveal of like to see where everyone's at. So you ruined that segment of the show.
I screwed that part up. Well, we got that for next time.
Next week we're going to write it down and we're going to reveal.
Woo!
What's your number?
Wow. I need a pen then. I didn't even. Yeah, I would have screwed it up that way too then.
I mean, you're in an
in the dungeon. We don't have a pen.
Unfinished room. For you to have paper and a pen is probably going to be a tough challenge out there, wherever you're at.
All right, let's dive into this.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys give him a mechanics index of a 5. I guess we'll start there.
I might give him a 3 or 4 because I I really believe he's strong enough to have width, and although it's steep, the downswing is pretty good. I would guess his face control is pretty good.
Okay, so why do you give him a 3, Justin? Why do you give him a 5? You like a lot of the things happening, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the club, I could understand the 3. If you remove everything that's happening with his body.
I mean, like, my point is, like, that's not that different than Scotty Scheffler, other than Scotty gets the dynamic lie angle a little lower at impact. And so that to me is the one thing, like, there's a little shaft droop and his hands are a little high at impact. But if you just purely look at the club, it's pretty good.
Okay.
How
So
he
dive
gets
in. What do we want to change then?
So-
What's going to help him?
You want me to go first, Luke, or you can?
I know you're going to talk about backswing, and I actually agree with you. Like, I would do backswing here to improve the downswing.
So go to P5, Cordy, left arm parallel on the downswing. So right there. Okay. So at this point, like, I would try to explain to him as much as possible that his trail arm is very internally rotated. Okay. So the elbow joint is pointed too far behind him, and that applies a steepening force to the shaft. The more you internally rotate the trail arm, the more the shaft works into a vertical position. In reaction to that, he does a couple things that I don't think do him a ton of favors. So if you play him down slowly to impact, his chest backs out of the shot a little bit. His pelvis might move in towards the ball a little bit. His right knee might kick in towards the ball a little bit, and he delivers a little higher handle, a little higher dynamic lie value than we'd probably want to see. I don't think those things help his face control. So what I would tell him is if we go back to that P5 position, man, it would be great to not have that trail arm in that super internally rotated position. So how did we get there and why did we get there? If you go to the top of the backswing, is it internally rotated there? Yes, it is. Now, if you take it all the way back to like the takeaway, we could start trying to solve this and say, okay, well, why is the trail arm so internally rotated? Well, if you take it back to like waist high, go just a few frames past the tape. One more frame, one more, right there. If you look at the shaft at this position right here, the shaft is pointed way outside the golf ball. And so what is the golfer now incentivized to do? Do you think he wants to keep his elbows close together and turn? No, the golf club will stay way too flat. So at this point, he recognizes the shaft is really flat and he needs to get the doggone thing up in the air. And that's when he starts to internally rotate the trail arm. So you'll watch it happen from here to the top. And that's eventually what creates that chain reaction of events that gets him into his steep position. So I believe what the best thing for this player to do is get the center of mass of the club working vertically earlier in the takeaway. So if you take him back to that takeaway position, he needs to move his hand path less out to start the backswing. He needs to not roll his forearms and externally rotate the trail arm so early. I would tell him that halfway back, he needs to try to get the shaft pointed at the ball or slightly inside it. Go down a little farther, right here. We would say, hey, we need the club to be a little bit more vertical at this point so that your brain isn't telling you to get the club up in the air by doing this. So I would do a lot of like take setup to right here with this guy. I might throw a ball between his elbows and see how vertical he can keep the club in the backswing.
And the reason being is not just for aesthetics of like, hey, this is a good idea to make it look prettier. It's ultimately because this handle's high and a lack of face control, which is going to cause.
Yeah, you can make that argument. There's going to be people out there that say, there's timing in every swing, but the higher that handle gets, Luke's probably going to talk about this, like the harder it is to not twist the face.
Yeah, the physics on it are high handles, especially late high handles, flip harder for sure, right? So that's what good teachers are trying to do with good players is trying to get the handle lower at impact. Now, again, you can go look at the history of golf and you look at Tiger Prime and you still hit a lot of stingers with a lot of high hands. And you look at even Jack Nicklaus, like the handle wasn't that low, right? But when you look at the face closure rates, like that is one thing we can control, and we see more and more tour players. Good iron players on tour do not have high handles very often.
How high is Scotty's like handle? Does he have a high handle or no? Is it
pretty tight? His arms are pretty close, and he does a really good job of getting the handle down. So
got it. Okay, so your main thing is this: if you fix and then why? So if the backswing is good, why do you think the downswing is gonna get better?
Because I think at the end of the backswing, he moves that elbow into a position where it points behind him to take the shaft from an overly flat position to get it up in the air. Like if you take it back to chest high on the backswing, he knows that club is too flat right now. He knows it is, and there's alarms going off in his brain saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I got to get this thing up in the air if I'm ever going to hit the ball far enough."
And so then based on it's a reaction. The downswing is a reaction to the backswing, is what you're then.
Yeah, and I think that the end of the backswing is a reaction to the beginning of the backswing right here.
So I'm like 98% with you. I'm just a little bit different about the causal factors. Like, I don't think he knows what he's doing. I would look at it more as an ecological dynamic system and forces reacting to where the club is in space. He's internal. He's external way too early, and then he gets in here. Yeah. And I just think it would fall, but I don't think he has any idea about it. Like, I'm not giving him any credit for understanding why he's doing what he's doing.
Sure.
And so I would just say, like, I just know if you pull that elbow wide and try to feel like the lawnmower move and get the club more here, that elbow can go this way a lot easier. And we're going to get earlier hand depth, and it's going to start shallowing much easier. That's kind of where I'd go, but I'm like 98% where you are. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, right here, the right elbow is already lower than the left elbow. I don't love that. That P2 at this takeaway position. I'm not saying it can't work. Anything can work.
So ultimately, coming back to this position here, this golf club, should this be on the same plane line as the setup? Is that the idea?
No. Can't be there. I mean,
no, not on the line, but the same parallel to it.
It will typically be higher than that, but you do find a few guys there, don't you?
It depends on a lot of different things. If you're measuring inside an app with an angle drawing tool, I like to see at this position around 55 degrees would be cool. But like Scotty's nowhere near that. If this guy had a lot of lower body slide and tilt, like this would be fine as well. I think a term that gets thrown around a lot is like 90 degrees to your back line, or so close, like make a perfect X with your spine and the shaft. That's plenty shallow, right? But this guy's not anywhere near that. That's very shallow.
I'm just saying, because this is pointed right here, right? If I'm going to say it's pointed 6 inches inside of the golf ball.
You can call it on plane. It's zeroed and it's on plane, and that's why he's at a 3 or 5 mechanical index versus being a 15, right? If that shaft through the shoulder points down more at his toes, then he's a 15 or 18 handicap, you know? But it is on plane. It's just a steep plane.
I don't understand that, actually.
I mean, it's kind of like the butt end of the club basically points at the ball, and like Justin and I would like it there or shallower.
Okay.
Very few players would have it pointed more down at the ground at that point right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That makes sense.
But there's also like the amount of, like when that trail arm starts to get super internal. I don't know how his contact is or whatever. A lot of times if that trail elbow starts to point this way, it can cause a golfer to release their wrist angles a little bit earlier than other golfers. So if we do pull up the face on, that would be one thing to pay attention to, is when does the left arm and the shaft form a straight line, and does it happen too early?
It has to happen earlier if you're going to jam the club into the ground. So then you early extend, which makes the angles release. So usually guys that, have that plane, like they're probably gonna early extend, and they're probably gonna release the shaft. And if they don't, very deep divots, and they'll slice driver.
So what are you looking at what can you learn from a face on?
So like go down to when the shaft is parallel to the ground right before impact. Right. A little further back, right there. So like you can see the space between the trail arm and the side of his body. You can see the green grass in there. Yeah. That is a sign that the trail arm is pretty internally rotated at this point. And I think if you put up a catalog of the top 10 ball strikers in the world, you would see less space there. Not saying there'd be no one with no space there. And the butt end of the club would be more in the middle of his right leg at this point.
This Elva has this number, which I love, which is lead arm to shaft at P6, meaning how much angle is in the shaft right there. and that's a pretty wide angle. That is much wider than PGA Tour. Go down a little further, where it's kind of like where the shaft go into the downswing.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll get go further. Right there is kind of where you start to see, okay, am I a good iron player or not? You don't find guys that are here that are good iron players. They have a little more angle than that. And
my argument would be if his elbow was in a better position, he would have it.
He's steep, and that's why he's got to do this. He's got to release it earlier. If he tried to really hold the angle, the divot would be really deep. He kind of can't land the airplane very well if you have a lot of angle, if the thing is coming down pretty vertical, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
This gets way harder if he can't physically do this, by the way.
It does, for sure. And then you have to decide, do you want to just get more turn and depth and play with more elbow behind you? And you can play pretty good. Like, there's a lot of ways, there's a lot of outs, but it is harder. I totally agree. I don't think this guy, like, given his build, I don't think he can externally rotate and do an easy TPI external rotation. And so we are probably going to, I'm definitely going to get his elbow wide and get him deeper. And then if I can get a little bit of external to going internal to external in transition, that's money, but I'm okay if it's just deeper.
Or if it's just like internal to less internal.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. There are some teachers out there right now who are talking about how the shoulder does not go that much external and good players actually don't. And this is a myth, right? They're saying it's a myth. And the truth is, most amateurs go way too much internal, even though a lot of pros do not go external. They're using that as a counterpoint, and I think they're mischaracterizing what's actually going on with a lot of amateurs.
Yeah, I don't know when this goes from internal to external. I don't know at what point it's what, but it's, well, I guess we'll just say, how about just from internal to less internal?
Exactly. I mean, so many amateurs are doing this, so we're trying to feel this so that we can at least be in a range that's acceptable.
Even if we know that nobody on tour is doing that, like we know that, like we get that.
Yeah. Don't you agree there's something going on in golf right now where people are talking about this?
I see a lot of posts about that, and maybe hey, you never know what kind of players they are teaching and what the information that their students are telling them that they're hearing is. But man, I got a lot of guys that go like this a lot, and I wish they wouldn't.
I put a core part of the book is talking about literally the natural throwing motion. I'm throwing any object. Like most people in the way they throw objects, we have a couple things. Like the elbow generally does not like to go external unless you've played some sports that make it a natural movement pattern. And then there's also the fact that like adults that don't play golf as young people, like they just naturally do not shallow it very often. They're going internal a lot.
So I guess one of his things is he's like his miss, or I guess when you're looking at a swing like this, I don't even know how you think about that as a factor, because obviously you've looked at the aesthetics of the swing. He's saying his miss is a block or a pull hook, and his natural swing creates a draw. How much does that factor into kind of what you guys just said, or is it no? Like, okay, I'm just going to look at this. Here's what I see. Okay, does that matter? Yeah,
what he said is the face matters.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of being cynical here, but yes, you miss left when your face is closed, and you miss patterns should be 50-50. And if he had a big bias one way, we might work one direction. But the challenge is, do we want to move the path? I would say if we can get shallower, I would say hitting fades would probably be a good option for him. But he's got to get shallower first, I would think.
Yeah, he wants more club face control, and so we're talking about avenues to hopefully that would help him.
I will say this: guys like this that get pretty inside out, like if his path gets to be 3, 4, 5, 6, probably does not play very well.
Oh,
you're better off
inside out.
Yeah, you don't want to be steep. Steep and inside out was really bad. Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cordy, tell us about how that feels.
Cordy, how'd you do? Yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Okay, so all of this whole point is to gain more face control, which by changing some of the things is going to do. Am I thinking about that right then?
Sure.
Based off what you said?
Justin, would you change his, let's say he says, what path should I play at? Would you have a preference on path for him? Or would you be like, I'm just going to get shallower?
Yeah, I don't have a preference. Whatever he likes.
Yeah. And we're talking within a couple degrees of zero either way.
We're not going more than 3 or 4.
Bending it a little bit, but I think we're just get it 0-ish and get it shallower.
Okay, so now we've kind of diagnosed kind of what you guys would see or want to change differently. Now, like, how the heck is Marcus going to do this? Like, when I see this with what you're saying, like, okay, he's got to go from here, kind of change that rerouting at the top, and we'll get that elbow change. It's like, oh my gosh, good luck doing that change.
He should have this looking good on parallax by 4 or 5 p.m. without a ball. This should take an hour to look good without a ball.
Okay.
And then it's just
Easy.
for training. I mean, what he's going to feel is he's going to feel like he's pulling the handle way in and the elbows here, and he's going to have the shaft literally like he should have a P3 goal on video to have it like this at P3.
Okay.
And then it's going to go this way a little bit, and he's just going to go smooth backswings, in my opinion. And in an hour, he should look awesome on video without a ball. So he learns the pattern without a ball, and he goes foam ball and real ball, in my opinion. Like, that's how I'd go.
Yeah. Slow-mo swings? Do you like the slow-mo swing idea? I mean, you hear that a lot on the internet. I think there's some crafty golf guy who says, if you practice like this, I wouldn't be a coach in 10 years or something. Always posting something.
A little bit of that
is.
Yeah.
Oh, and he left. That was an offensive joke. We literally kicked him off.
Sorry, the door was open.
He's grabbing a club.
Okay, I got a club.
So slow-mo, are you a fan of that? Of like, hey, just make that move really slow?
Be specific. Like, I would go pretty slow on the backswing until he got it, and then I would gather speed on the downswing until it was looking pretty good.
Okay. Got it. And this is, I mean, you got to come back to, like, you have to be doing this stuff with video. Like, there's no point in doing it if you don't have video going, because you have no idea if you're doing it right or not. So, like,
I'll give viewers another option, because I know Luke. That's how Luke does, and he obviously is insane at it, really good at it. I would do a different approach with this player if I knew his practice habits were practicing less than 5 hours a week. I would tell him that our main priority needs to be how he moves the club again from P1 to P3, and I would say we're going to see what the heck you do from there, because I think there's a possibility that if he gets the club in a more vertical position, he may not feel the need to go like this at the end of the backswing. So I would give him some drills where he can visually make sure he would obviously have to be using video, but he would be making sure to go a little bit lower, left arm parallel. We would be working on keeping the hand path at least that deep, and the shaft just needs to be pointed down inside the ball. And I would tell him to practice that till he's blue in the face, and I would see how his trail arm reacts from there. If it still goes crazy, then I would go after that again. But my fear with telling him to go make it look good by 4 or 5 p.m., which again is not the wrong thing to do, is if he goes and he does that, he might be like, dude, I just went and tried to play and I played terrible. And because I tried to do it. And that's just because he doesn't understand transferring. So that's where I kind of try to screen the student and know what the heck, how much are they going to practice, and what do they look, do they want small incremental growth, or do they want a brand new golf swing?
Yeah, and I just for preface, like, I think that's what we all deal with as coaches, and this is where, like, I'm very clear with onboarding new students. I talk about, if you're going to go work on this move, you should understand how to use impact opposites to make it work, because you might have the plane looking great and shank 28 in a row and shoot 180. Great. I'm not a good coach, or you're not following the plan. Do you know what I mean? And it's obviously somewhere in the middle. The coach has to meet the player where they're at. And so I just always say, yeah, go work on this. And then if you feel like you can use some of it on the course, you can. Like, I would expect, because he is a pretty good player, he's a scratch, he can use this. His skill band is very high. He should be able to play with this tomorrow. And I think, Justin and I teach a little bit differently from, like, I love to have students commit to saying, I'm going to do this and it's going to take some time. But I'm also with a guy like this. Yeah, he should play better within a couple of weeks using a little bit of better backswing. I totally agree with that.
Why don't you think even if he makes a better backswing, isn't he still going to pull that club down steep right there? Like, why do you think he'll actually, if he just improves that P1 to P3, that is actually not going to be as steep on the downswing?
I'll tell you why.
Heck yeah.
Why is he steep?
Tell me why. You can't change your camera angle. Now we know where you're at. You've revealed everything.
It's nice in here. Why is he steep? Because of this, right?
Yep.
Okay, why did that happen? because the shaft was like this, and he knows if he finishes his backswing like that, he's never going to be able to play golf because he's not John Rahm. So what does he need to do? He needs to get this thing up in the air. So the backswing causes the club to be flat. He reacts to that by doing this, and that carries into here. So if I get the club here in the backswing and I tell him to finish his backswing, this is going to look really weird. He's going to feel how high this is and know, with a little instruction, that he can from here pinch his elbows together. Now as he starts down, he has the elbow in a completely different spot. That's why.
Got
It's
it.
steep because he's here, and he's here because it's too flat and he needs to get it up in the air.
But do you think he'll still have to? One of his like thoughts is going to be about that trail elbow, though. Like you just said,
Maybe.
like, using that trail elbow, right? Like that might be a thing. Like
I have seen players get the backswing in a better spot, and the elbow moves by itself, and I've seen them not change it at all. It depends, like how aware the player is of where the club is in space.
I had a guy yesterday, literally same thing, half-hour lesson. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did this move, and we basically did kind of this plan, and you can see the old takeaway was super, super laid off. And let's see if I can go the right direction. And it did shallow. It worked really well, and he hit it much better. So he was pretty laid off. It was a little bit better, and then it shallowed better. See that? Now that was a 30-minute lesson, and he was flushing it, and all I did was backswing. And I know Crafty's like, sometimes you pigeonhole me as I don't do backswing.
I know.
Perfect cases, a backswing will solve a ton, and it will shallow very well.
Justin, this reminds me. It sounds like you like talking about the center of the mass of the club, right? We've talked about that.
Yeah,
before.
I shouldn't even say that word. It's a stupid word. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's not stupid. I mean, just think about the club head. Okay, it's like the center mass is like right here.
It does pull though. Like this stuff matters when I go this way, it goes this way, and so understanding the plane like matters a lot. I probably don't talk about it as much because sometimes I'm worried I confuse students, so I try to keep it really dumb. But yeah, when you get early hand depth and your elbow's here and you just swing, it shallows pretty nicely. That's why steep to shallow is the way that golf instruction's going. Generally.
And like you can feel like that's what you feel when you swing is that center of mass. That's
our hands are pulling against that center of mass, correct? Like that's what we feel is we're fighting that in some way when we pull.
Yeah. And when you put them all together, when this is where I think it's going. When you get a really good hip turn, Justin and I are probably because there's some guys that are teaching don't turn your hips. When you turn your hips and have it really depth and the club is here, it's so easy to shallow that thing relative to no hip turn and here. And then you're going this way, I just hit my ceiling. Get some early depth, get that thing there, and it's a lot easier to get it there. Now, I'm exaggerating the heck out of it with my elbow really wide, and a lot of good players don't need to get the elbow way. You don't want to get stuck, but you want to have this, and then it goes this way, and you're good to go.
Yep. Okay, so 2 approaches for Marcus. One, he could go lots of video, slow-mo swings, no ball, and then kind of go through the whole transfer process. Justin, you're saying just hammer that P1 through 3, and let's see what happens with the downswing.
If it's August 10th and he's like, I got to play tomorrow too, then I'm like, yeah, easy. Let's just work on your backswing. I think you might start self-organizing some of these things better. But if it's December 15th and he's like, how crummy is this? And you're like, dude, we can fix this fast. Then I think what Luke said, going crazy and trying to fix it all at once is the right way.
Where I'm off the deep end a little bit, but I explain very clearly to people. I'm like, okay, I want you to be able to work on this mechanic move, and you can go do this in your backyard or the garage, but you don't have to use it. I want you to go learn, experiment, and get weird and make it awesome. And a lot of times in a week, they can make it look awesome. And then, okay, cool. Now let's go hit some balls, but you don't have to use it. And if you feel like you want to hit some balls with it and you think you have 1 or 2 nuggets that you can use on the course, I kind of let people decide. I kind of let them choose a little bit of their own journey. But I always said it as like, no, you're not going to use this on the course, because I've been burned by people too many times where they go take a lesson and then they want to use it. This guy and like the guy I was showing you yesterday, flushing it. It's awesome. I just set the bar lower. I don't expect that to happen. Because I don't know what their skill band is. I don't know how well they do when they hit one hosel rocket at the bev cart. There's a lot of knowns,
Well, folks, this was a fun experiment. We need to know what you guys think. Do you like the listener swing review? Hit the comments below, and we can do some more of this full on 35-minute conversations.
I think we should also do like some rapid fire, like lightning round with a bunch of swings. That'd be kind of fun too.
That would be fun.
And
we'll have to see. Do the viewers like us going through more swings, or do they like us like diving in on one?
Should we try the other way and go through a bunch of swings and be like, we all get 1 minute to give a view, and then we give a mechanics index on a card at the end? And
yeah, Justin. So that when we get the mechanics,
I would mean writing that down, right?
And then we would present it, and it's like a game of like how close are we all.
So I need paper and a pen. I have a napkin.
Refinement.
No, this is super good. Hey, if you have a swing that you want to send in for a future episode, swing@golfball.co. Send a screenshot of a comment too if you want extra bonus credit to shoot you up the rankings of when you get your swing reviewed on the show. And if you hated this whole idea, just don't say anything at all. We'll live on in our blind bliss that all of these shows are great. Especially, hey, if you're in your car listening to this podcast, just want to go ahead and formally apologize for that as well. This probably wasn't a great experience for you.
You're a super fan if you're still hanging on.
Yeah. Awesome. Guys, we will see you all next week. You know